Got it.
I know we're usually talk politics, but this David Brown in Dallas, man, this guy is emerging as a true hero in this whole story.
It absolutely is. I mean, I think it's, I think it's very ironic, interesting. You know, we'll find whatever word you want that can really describe this. You know, what we've seen transpire in Dallas. I mean, first of all, you know, the police in Dallas and the people in Dallas, the minority communities have had a very, very strong positive relationship, and there was a positive relationship that night. That's obviously ironic in itself. But the fact that he got up there yesterday and was saying, you know, probably making the best point that anyone has ever made in this, which is, hey, we've got a way for you to be part of the solution. We're hiring. Come on here, and we'll put you in your communities and neighborhoods and try to help solve the problems that you're protesting about. I mean, it's just it's almost shocking to hear because it makes so much sense.
Yeah. Let's talk Trump. Let's talk Clinton first. Clinton. Both of them, I think their responses are somewhat muted in all of this. Do you agree?
I do. I mean, I think people are sick and tired of the. They certainly, on something like this, don't have any bandwidth to listen to politicians trying to leverage it for you know, future gain. I think they do want to hear what the president has to say, and I think that you know, he's in a very difficult position. Frankly, I think he's put himself in that difficult position many times because rather than choosing to lead, I think he has chosen many times to use the wrong words and the wrong tone at the wrong time. And it's polarized the situation even more, unfortunately. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that people just have no bandwidth or patience to hear people vying for future office and trying to leverage events like this to do so.
Trey Harden, the Republican convention is next week. Donald Trump has to pick a vice president. You're a world-class political operative. If you were advising Donald Trump, first of all, you need a lobotomy. Second of all, who would you tell him to pick as his vice presidential running mate?
I mean, I would tell him to pick someone. Well, first of all, there's many people I would tell him to consider picking, but the reality is that the list and the pool that he's going to be picking from is tiny because no one wants to be his vice presidential sidekick. So, but if there were, you know, if there were many interested folks, I would tell him he needs to pick someone like a John Kasich, someone who is a governor of a state that has governed, that has been an executive on the government side. That you, maybe even someone like Kasich, who's been both in Washington and at the state level, someone that's clearly going to erase any doubt in voters' minds about the experience and the approach if Trump were to win and to get into office. Because clearly that is a doubt that I think a lot of people have, is he can talk about walls, he can talk about banning Muslims, he can talk about all these proposals, but you know, let's be honest, we all know that both of those two proposals I just mentioned are not going to happen. So what is going to happen when he gets into office? And I think a lot of people have questions about that. So having someone with more experience, I think, is essential for him.
Will the party accept a retired military guy who's pro-choice?
You know, typically you would say no, but I mean, I guess the interesting and uncharted waters were this time is, you know, the party has had to accept someone who beat a field of 17 candidates, one of the most talented Republican fields we've had in a long time, and the parties had to accept the presidential nominee. So, you know, but I'm not convinced that it's really accepting Trump yet. I mean, he still has trouble fielding speakers and celebrities and folks at the convention. But the real truth, the real test is going to be, you know, are these far-right Republicans or even moderate Republicans, this huge percentage that have said they're not going to vote for him, do they really mean that in November? So I think he's got challenges that beyond choosing just a VP candidate.
Trey Harden, ABC News political analyst. Last year, he had no use for Daniel Murphy. Now he's his favorite second baseman in the National League.
You got to admire it. The guy he is seeing baseball, as they say.
He's a hacker. He's a hacking fool. Trey, have a good week. Thanks for checking in.
All right, buddy. Take care.
626.